When creating games and tours in Loquiz, you will probably do it in several languages. So you might do it in English, you might do it in your own mother tongue. And the content, the questions, the stories are really language independent. So you can have them in whatever language you want to. But then there is an application buttons and other strings that are shown to the players that are not part of the content. And I'm going to cover today how do you translate the application to your language and what tools do you have for that. To create these user interface languages, we have very strong tool available that is called translations. So when you open the translations, you don't have any languages that you have created, and let's create new private language. So that will be visible to you only and not to anybody else. I'm going to call it language 1. I'm not going to upload icon at the moment. It is just for the reasons to be shown in the Creator Pro interface. And I'm going to set the base language as an English language. So there is one language that we actually maintain, and this is the English base language. If there are new strings coming to the platform, we always add it here as a string and also as a human readable text as well, so that this English base language is always kept up to date. And I'm going to create the language based on English language file. So what you can see here when you are now working on the translations is that we have the strings from the base language. We have the information where this string is visible for the user, and we have the ability to offer the translations here. And you can see that all the boxes where I can write in, they actually have the base language string already in it. So the first and very, very important concept is that you do not need to translate everything. So you can do it kind of step by step, and you can just provide some of the translation. And what happens then is that if I do not translate everything, then one string is taken from my translation, but all the rest is taken from the base language. So let's just translate the first sentence here. Its video is too long, and in Estonian it's video on liiga pikk. So that is actually Estonian language translation for that string. And I create my language. I'm not going to translate everything. You can search and filter out the specific fields that you want to translate, and there's actually quite many of them, 241 items in total, so there's a lot to translate. But again, the point is you don't need to translate everything at once. The language will work even if you just go and create the language and translate what is most crucial to you. So we'll create this language, and now we have first language on our language list. And of course, to use that language, you have two places to use it. First one, when you create games, you need to set the language in the game file so that the user interface will take the language, okay? So that is the first thing where you need to set it. And the second thing is that when you're working with the tasks, you can add the same language to the task as well, so that it's easier for you to find the tasks that are in this specific language. Okay. So the next thing is that you might have now your native language translated, but you are creating a tour or a game that really doesn't work with the native language, and you want to have a themed native language. For example, we are creating a James Bond game. So just having the native language doesn't really cut it. I want something more, so some of the strings need to be changed. So what you can do in this case is that you create a new language, and we're still talking about the user interface in the application. Let's call it language 2. I'm not gonna upload icon again. And now instead of basing this language on the English base language, I'm gonna base it on the language 1 I just created. And now when I go to the translations, you can see that the base language actually took the strings that I created in language 1 and that I did not include in language 1. They were taken from the base language, and I can now add the translations that are needed for the specific themed language. So I might change the video is too long again, I might add something else, and I create the language. So then I have a language that is based on a language that is based on the base language. And so you can actually go on and on. The most important concept here is that if you have the base language defined well in your own native language, then you don't actually need to provide all the strings. So creating a new language is not translating all the 241 items, it's rather translating the items that are most crucial for that theme. And this is extremely powerful feature that will allow you to create user interface strings for games, for tours, for themed events, for specific events, even maybe for specific corporations if you want to. Thanks.